Babble Lab.
The Babble Lab podcast.
Babble Lab.
They're generally saggy intros.
The Babble
Then how do they shoot a ping pong ball?
Well, because that region is
That's
probably
muscles.
well manicured.
Muscle memory.
Well, it's not manicured. That's the
Oh,
wrong
okay.
word. What's pussy-cured?
Sure.
Actually,
Anyway.
I don't know.
No.
Well, the opposite of manicure
It kind
would
of
be
made me a little
femicure.
sad though to know that people in the U.S. are doing that because
Why?
my boss got this machine.
Wait,
that
they're doing what?
shooting ping pong balls out of their snatches. Because
That made you sad that people are doing that?
No, the reason it made me sad is because my boss got this machine that shoots ping pong balls, and
And you're like,
he
we
can
don't
hit
need
them.
this.
And
This
I'm
is
like,
unnecessary piece of technology. There's people who can.
I'm like another machine, more automation,
Taking
putting
jobs.
hardworking Americans out of the job. You know, yeah, no. If it was a job no one wanted, but clearly somebody
yeah, I
wants
can't
it.
believe people pay to see that. That's kind
You
of.
can't believe people pay to see it.
Yeah, that just seems.
Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Like, would it surprise you if I paid to see that?
No.
No.
But
So
you're,
you can believe
you're not.
it.
You're not normal.
I'm not people.
You're one of those outliers.
Let's. Are we recording?
Oh yeah, we're.
Oh, okay. Oh shit.
Click on the thing.
Oh, wait,
It says
that's the wrong one.
fanfare.biz.
Oh, fanfare.jpg.
Biz.
.gif. Who's calling you?
I like how the fidget spinner is now part of the show.
It is.
So we can be even more like bullshitty.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that in the podcasting.
Welcome to Babble Lab, episode 11. I am your host, Cole, here with the Jeffs and Jake. And today we're going to do what we always do.
Well, not
Hammer nails down.
No, I had to stop saying that now, right?
Yeah.
It's on me at that point. It's my fault
You
now.
gotta stop leaving me openings.
It's my fault. I'm hoping someone.
You leave an opening, and I'm just
I'm
gonna hammer a nail
I'm
down.
hoping
it.
that I'll say that and someone will chime in with something witty.
I was going
But
to
it's,
say,
just, that it's been
I
consistently
was gonna,
that.
yeah,
I was going to say fidget spin, but
Yeah. See, I would have gone with that.
I was gonna say it's not what we always do because
See?
sometimes I have to come prepared with coherent thoughts.
See?
And
Even
now these episodes where we just do the never heard of it, so I can just put my feet up and react incoherently.
Yeah.
There's
That's why I
no
like it.
pressure to perform because we all know it's just gonna be bad.
So that's kind of what I was going for, but I have to stop saying it now because I guess it's just
because
Jake
Jake,
is-
exists.
hammer nails down dicks.
I guess it's always on his mind. It's the first thing that comes into his mind when someone says, "You know what we do?"
Yeah, it's your final solution.
Solves a lot of society's problems.
No,
We have too many nails and too many dicks. Combine them.
Why,
How
we
does
don't
that
have, we
fix
don't have
anything?
too many nails. If we had too many nails, we'd just stop making nails.
Nope, I don't believe that.
I keep getting all these flat tires.
It was like that previous episode where I was like, we have too many lions. Like that wasn't based on anything.
Do we don't have too many lions.
That was just based on the fact that like I wouldn't want to encounter a lion.
No, I
like,
think-
that's not sound reasoning for we
Like,
have too many
one
lions.
one is too many for you.
I thought the two,
Yes,
the two
yeah.
things you were trying to solve is we want lion meat because who doesn't, and we have undesirables.
and we want human meat.
So you combine those two.
I've never had
But
lion meat.
we don't want human meat. We want to handle the undesirables, right?
Yeah.
Was that
well,
the,
we want Victor meat.
well, that's a side benefit.
I also mentioned that there might be we might not want more lions. It might make sense to have fewer. Of
I just feel like lion meat is going to be really tough. Like,
oh, I'm sure it tastes like shit.
Was it like
You slow cook it.
most
It's
predator
probably good.
meat? You just have to treat it tenderly, like alligator, right?
Yeah,
You just don't cook it too much.
yeah. Right.
yeah.
Anything lean like that.
Do alligators follow the traditional rule of other water animals though, where they
I don't know.
their being a predator has very little to do with how good. Well, they eat land animals, so
Yeah.
that probably doesn't apply.
Well, they trim the fat away. All the fat goes, and they just give you the lean meat. And
Mm-hmm.
then every time I've had alligator, it's been breaded or like covered in garlic.
Yeah, I've had it
It's
fried.
kind of like that escargot thing where I don't actually know what escargot tastes like. I just know what garlicky
It tastes
butter tastes
like
like.
nothing.
Sauce.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just a tender medium for some
It's
other
like
flavor.
clam. It's just sort of like
Yeah.
chewy. And
it's a,
tastes
it's
like
a
salt.
vehicle for flavors.
Right.
Yeah.
Oysters to me taste like lime juice and red onion because
Yeah.
that's what I put on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I hear you.
But like steak, I barely salt and pepper my steak. You know, like, that's a meat that can stand on its own.
Yeah.
Pig skins just taste like chili powder.
Most pig. you could
Just tastes like salt.
Yeah.
It's weird that
gotta dress up
it's
for
weird that in Florida that like alligators are like vermin.
Yeah, I don't ever want to have that mental flow chart of I'm going to go for a swim.
Yeah.
Let me check my pool for alligators.
Yes.
They have a.
I want to know my pool's empty.
Yeah.
They have a thing you can sign up for where you go on a what are those boats? The river boat things?
Fan boat?
Yeah, the fan boat. That's thank you. You go on a fan boat with a harpoon gun and they
Sweet.
That sounds
you
fun.
get the hunting license. You get
Yeah.
to go hunt an alligator,
And all those
you get to
cumin
shoot an
imbi-
alligator with
Oh.
a harpoon.
I know they had the harpoons that have the shotgun shells in them.
Boomsticks.
Boomsticks.
Yeah.
Oh, to propel the harpoon?
No.
No.
It's a shotgun shell that when you stab it, it shoots a shotgun shell.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. But instead of
How did I not know about
instead
that?
of a,
That's right up my alley.
instead of like in a gun, the hammer hitting the blasting cap, it's the force of
the
the
concussive
the rod
force of you.
driving down on it. Yeah.
I'm really surprised you
sense.
haven't heard about this because that's something I thought you told me about it.
I don't know.
Wow.
It definitely seems like something you'd be into.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm into that.
I kind of want one.
Now you have something to look up.
Probably illegal in California.
like most things.
Well,
Most things are.
There's no alligators here, so.
Well, you can use them to kill other
Not
things.
yet. Oh, this is how we get things legalized. We start bringing in alligators, and then we'll be like, we have to have it.
I don't think they could survive here.
I have to have a machine gun for the
not?
alligators.
We don't really have like robust freshwater systems.
We have pools. You just
Yeah,
throw them in the
we do
pool.
so
have
we
pools.
terraform.
So-
California
But most of our pools are saltwater.
to be more,
mostly
amenable to
chlorine.
alligators.
Probably most. Are.
But
yeah,
are
but
they
they're
okay?
shooting.
All right, fine. We'll bring in
Need water
saltwater
to live.
crocs. We'll just settle for saltwater.
We
crocs.
don't have those here, right?
Not yet.
They can handle brackish water, but I think all of the North American croc and alligators are freshwater.
Oh, I didn't mean. They didn't have to be from America.
Yeah, we could just.
You're gonna bring black caimans from Guyana.
Yeah.
I mean, we shouldn't because that's terrifying. But
They're the biggest ones. Yeah.
then we get boomsticks, so that's fun.
Yeah.
The ends
Yeah.
justify the means.
Yeah.
The ends of the boomsticks.
So you're a utilitarian ethics guy, not a Kantian
We'll
ethics.
just do a CRISPR thing and sterilize them all when we're done with them.
yeah.
you know.
Get that gene drive going.
Yeah.
But and then we get boomsticks.
Best case scenario, there's
yeah,
no
we
more.
keep the boomsticks, but we get rid of the crocs.
Have you guys ever dueled with Roman candles?
no.
No. That
I've
seems
seen
like a
it
good way
done.
to lose an eye.
Oh, you've seen that though.
Look
Yeah.
at the scar.
They just bounce right off.
I've
I
No,
don't
one
know.
went one straight through my jacket.
Well, yeah, but that you were wearing like a polyester raincoat,
yeah.
right? It's gonna melt.
But I've seen pictures of people who have like pretty bad burn scars.
Yeah,
from
they're
those.
pussies.
Yeah, they're pussies for being able to be burned.
You shouldn't get hit by it.
You ain't a Targaryen, you ain't shit.
All right.
Sure
We'll
was.
move on from that.
Let's get things started today. Today we have some I've never heard of it. No, damn it. Today we have some.
This is our worst and oldest bit is playing on the name of that
but at
segment.
this point,
It's not funny.
I don't want to let it go anymore. It's kind of like it feels like home.
Okay, sure.
At this point, we have some whodunits, and I have a hat here.
Yeah, what's the hat today?
Today's hat is a really exciting one.
Can I say I love the way that you say today for some reason?
Why?
I don't know. I just like it.
Oh,
go,
today's hat.
Today.
Today's hat
Yeah.
is.
Good, it's good. I
It's
guess.
a good today.
Thank you. I don't know if you're being facetious, but
No, it's a
enjoy
good
it.
today.
We genuinely enjoy it.
All right. Today's hat is. You know the hat that has the little propeller on top?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's
Shit.
a multicolored.
Like a fidget spinner.
I'll just
Didn't
show.
we have that?
I'll just show you. No, we didn't have that.
I thought we already had that one.
We did not have
No,
that.
we did not have that
Definitely
one.
didn't
yet.
have that one.
Because I
That's-
bought
that's
it. You guys
deja
can all
vu.
see
Just
it here.
it looks familiar to me. That's all I'm saying.
You might have one in your personal
No,
collection,
that's
but
probably
we
what
don't
it
have one. So yeah, let me put the topics in the hat. So this segment, I have I have found articles on Wikipedia just by going to the random page. I thought maybe it might spark some interest, some conversation, and so I'm gonna.
And we've never seen these.
They've never seen them,
And that's why we call the segment urethral sounding.
and I'm gonna let them pick it out of a hat. Every week is a different hat. Every other week, I guess. We don't do this segment that often. Anyways, here we go. Who wants to pick first?
Go ahead, Jake. You're over there.
yeah.
Pick something good. If it's a fucking trade dispute, put it back.
I did 3 trade disputes this week.
I'll put it back like it's a Chinese child that turned out to be female. That's what they do. They put it back.
I don't think they put it back.
Stuff it right back up in the pussy and let the mother's body reclaim it.
Just resorbs it.
It's the same thing that hamsters do, except they eat it.
So it's not the same at all.
Well, but it's about reclaiming nutrients.
Yeah, but you could put.
The same goal.
You think you could put like food up your pussy and just not have to eat again?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
same.
absorb
it's
the life
It's just a
force.
straight tube to the mouth, right? That's how that works.
I don't know.
don't know.
I don't
No,
know
I don't
enough about biology.
Yeah,
to
because
challenge you.
I got sex ed in America where we just tell people random bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
My sex ed was don't have sex.
You know what I noticed today is that classic rap is very in favor of contraception, and I think that's really socially responsible. like at the beginning of 2 of America's Most Wanted, they're like, get out the champagne and the condoms, and I'm like, that's a responsible route to go.
Yeah.
I think it was more so that people they're sleeping with have diseases.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, that's still
Yeah,
responsible.
that's
though.
why you I mean, that's part of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it might,
that's-
might not be
definitely-
about not having kids, but that's it's a
A lot of the reason people use condom is to prevent disease
yeah,
spreading.
yeah. Snoop Dogg and Gin and Juice had got a pocket full of rubbers, and my homeboys do too. That's it's a good message.
that's true.
Before me dig out a bitch, I have to find a contraceptive.
Yeah.
You never know; she could be earning her man and learning her man. At the same time, burning her man, and then you're like, "Oh, he means literally burning her man."
Like setting him on fire.
Anyway,
With herpes.
so moving back to this,
I'm just all ablaze with herpes.
this thing that I
Oh yeah, we have a topic. Da 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 da. Wait, did we play the
Crosby-
fanfare?
I played it. I think so.
Did we play the fanfare?
Yeah, we're good.
Should we play it?
We did.
Give me
No,
like
no, we
5
played
seconds.
it.
No,
of
we
the
need.
fanfare.
Let's just
we played it.
just
I played
reset
it,
the
but-
mindset.
yeah.
New topic.
There it is.
I got off track.
Thank
All
you.
right. Crosby Gaston?
Oh,
Gastine?
yeah,
Garston?
Garston.
Garston.
That's
That's
an
an
R.
R.
Yeah.
Crosby
Okay.
Garston.
Surprisingly, that is an R.
Kinda touching the A a little. It's a feely R.
I don't think anyone's get this one. And this one's not even going to be that interesting to hear about.
Crosby. Wow. You really know how to pick
choose it?
Good topic,
Nobody's
Cole.
going to get this.
Hey, you set your standards low, and then you can exceed them.
Crosby Garston. All right. So with names, we kind of have a good
This
history
is a
of like
terrible.
kind of going for
I'm thinking.
eras.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like 1920s Harlem.
Actually, this guy is pretty cool. He's pretty cool.
I always betray my prejudices when I postulate, right? Because I don't like the sound of this name, I think it's Garston is very like guttural, so
Crosby Garston.
I just think the South, right?
Yes.
Oh,
For
could
some
be.
reason. I don't know.
So
I can see
Crosby
that.
Garston was
Crosby
the biggest. He had the most slaves of all time.
I think he was either
Is that a record people tried to set?
I don't know. That's why he went down in history.
It's like when people have
Crosby Garston.
baseball card collections.
I think he was
Let me show you my
either-
barn of slaves.
I'm from Virginia.
He was either a black man in like 1920s Harlem, because sometimes they had like
Well,
weirdly,
20s Harlem, was that still
Crosby?
a white neighborhood, I think?
I don't know. I made something up.
When did the projects happen? I think all those places started as like whatever the new influx of immigrant was.
Okay,
took
well, he's
over
either a black man in Harlem or he's
a white
an
slave owner.
imperial wizard of the KKK.
Those
Because
are,
I like
those are very different
I'm
things.
springboarding.
Well,
I know he's a man of extremes.
So you're on
He was
along
the first.
same lines.
He
as-
was the first black imperial wizard of the KKK.
Oh, jeez.
That's what I think Crosby Garston was.
Cole, is that it?
No,
We didn't get this one.
Okay.
no, you didn't get this one.
I kind of want to say NASCAR driver.
No.
Hunter.
That's kind of like the KKK guess, right?
Famous abortionist.
Famous abortionist.
Are there any?
You mean abolition?
Crosby
abolitionist?
Garston.
No, abortionist. I'm pretty sure he meant
No, I meant
abortionist.
abortionist. No, not abolitionist.
Okay, none of those are right.
Tennis player.
No. Okay, do you want me to tell you or give you a hint? Hint?
Golfer.
Footballer.
He was born in 1887.
Oh,
Okay, so if you're noteworthy during that time, it has to do with probably Western expansion or like he's American, right?
Nope.
Oh, he's not American.
No.
So he's not from the South.
Safari.
what the fuck kind of
was
non-American has a name like Crosby? That seems very.
It's an English name, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so.
know.
Which makes me think Safari.
Ooh,
Did he shoot the largest lion?
I did say Hunter and Cole went.
famous
I have to
famous
look.
wearer of pith helmets.
He spent time in South Africa, so I'm assuming he hunted at some point.
Did he eat a lot of pemmican?
Doesn't say.
Okay.
I don't know
I
who
have to
this
assume.
person
I have to
is.
assume yes. Mostly just because I don't know what pemmican
All
is.
right. That's what Thomas Henry Manning brought with him.
Oh, gotcha.
It's pulverized jerky that they pour animal fat over.
That sounds great.
Whoa, I want that.
It lasts for years.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I'd love to eat that. Okay, so Crosby Garston. He was a poet, best-selling novelist, and the eldest son of the Newland School painter Norman Garston. So he's a poet, famous poet.
Okay.
But there's a lot of controversy with this guy.
Ooh,
Let's hear it.
Well, not a lot of controversy.
because he was the first black imperial wizard of the KKK.
No, he was born in the UK in 1887 in Cornwall. But then he came on over to the US. Worked as a Bronco buster in Montana, which I'm not sure what that even is.
Well, it's probably taming wild horses.
That's what I'm
Like
assuming.
a bucking bronco.
A
And then if
bronco.
you bust him,
I thought it was you
sounds-
bust a nut in a bronco.
No, you tame.
probably
It says a Bronco is an untrained horse, so they probably have to go out there and just.
he was like
horses.
a horse whisperer.
You bust
my
him.
guess.
You bust him selling drugs.
So imagine that. Imagine
he
living
would
in a
read
time.
them poetry.
Your job was just to go like ride as far as you can, find some horses, and just like tame them. And then now this horse is yours.
Or they had a horse that just wasn't broken yet.
I guess, but someone had to get the horse.
Well, they could birth the horse.
That wouldn't count then, would it?
I think at this time, late 1800s, they're not going wrangling new horses. They're just breeding them.
Then that's not really breaking them. If you
Yeah, they
if
have to
you're
be
raising
broken
it-
at some point.
Really? If you're taming
Yeah,
a-
I think horses are not as domestic as well. I don't know though, because I thought they only had to be broken if they weren't like raised in captivity.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know anything about horses.
Yeah, that sounds right. So we're all just
Anyways,
speculating wildly
So
about
he was a
things we have
Bronco
no idea
buster in
about.
Montana for a while.
Okay.
I break my horses by giving them a job and then being a mean boss. It breaks them over time, really slowly.
This guy traveled a lot for being back then. Like how were they traveling back in 1887?
It was just hot air balloons.
Train.
That's it.
Zeppelins.
Yeah.
So then he went to Canada, worked as a lumberjack.
Ooh. A lumberjack poet.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, those are
Thomas Henry
opposites.
Manning owned him.
And then he went to China, Hawaii, Japan, and Morocco.
Holy shit.
I know, he's been everywhere.
Morocco and China are about as far away as anything.
That's what I'm thinking.
In every sense.
Yeah, did you know how we always say you dig down to China if we go through the earth?
Yeah.
You know what's the opposite of California? Madagascar.
Oh, sweet. That's way better.
Yeah, right? So we
They have
should,
lemurs.
we should tunnel to Madagascar.
I take lemurs over pandas any day.
Pandas suck.
There's not that many
right?
pandas.
Pandas are all right.
They're just a shitty bear.
They're
I like
all right.
bears, so as a baseline, I enjoy pandas.
Honestly,
but
it'd be pretty chill if they just hung out.
I feel like pandas are doing their best to go extinct, and we're just getting in the way.
They are
pretty
no.
much.
The only reason they're still
They
alive
don't
is 'cause
fucking.
of
They
us.
don't eat. They just sit
No,
there.
that's actually a myth.
They're basically
The-
celibate.
You don't think they'd be extinct at this point?
No, because we fucked with their
Yeah, we would've killed them
environment
all.
and their reproductive habits.
yeah, we would have killed them all.
Right. Oh, okay. So you're saying the reason they survive is because we're preventing them from going
Yeah,
extinct.
yeah.
It's
Yes,
like
yeah, that's
avocados.
true. But
Yeah.
if we had never existed in the first place, they wouldn't just naturally
sure.
go extinct.
And yet-
that's
I still think they
Here we
might have
are.
been gone.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
well, eventually
Just
they
from
will.
being
Eventually,
They're just kind of
everything
shitty
will.
bears. You're right.
if you realize that that's like Asian jungle tigers also live with them.
Yeah.
You know, like give them enough time.
yeah.
And pandas are going away.
unless they
I
run out
think
of stuff
I
to
think
eat.
pandas could kill a tiger.
No.
The advantage that pandas have is that they eat.
I love this
Pandas
argument.
aren't bears, all right? That's the first misconception.
They are bears.
They're fat, stupid raccoons. No, they're like rodentia. They're not. They're like a different family than bears.
They're not. They're more distantly related to other bears, but they're still bears. I've looked this up because I
Really?
lumped them in with koalas, which are not bears.
No, they're
but
not.
people used to say
Koalas are
koala bears.
marsupials.
Marsupials, yeah.
You know, but no, pandas are more distant than other bears. But
they're
still
like
considered
they're
bears.
Familia ursa or whatever.
Yeah, they're still.
Can we fact check that, Cole? Or is that too much work?
No, I can do that. I can do that.
Because I heard they were raccoons, but
They are like
tails.
red pandas are pretty much.
Is that what I'm
raccoons.
thinking of?
Are pandas bears? So, this is from ucsb.edu.
Okay.
Scientists have used DNA to find out that the giant panda is more closely related to other bears than to raccoons.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Giant pandas are in the family Ursidae.
Ursa, yeah.
But I think they are close to raccoons.
With the 7 other bear
Relatively.
species, raccoons are in the family
Are they Mustelinae?
Prosonidae,
like
Prosonidae,
like polecats.
Yeah.
along with ringtails and coitus.
Coitus?
It says Coatis.
Oh, coaties.
Coitus, yeah.
Coaties. The coaties are actually like cotimundis. I think are part of that,
It sounds logical.
and I think they're more closely related to cats.
I don't know. No one gives a shit.
I love the shit out of. If I had my way, this would be the animal facts and sodomy show, and it would just be weird sex stuff and animal facts all day.
You could call it taxotomy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right, tune in next week for Jake's solo episode, Taxotomy. Just an hour rant of Jake talking about
I'd say
anything.
nobody would tune in, but that would give us like 2 fewer than we have now.
No one listens to this to begin with.
All right. Okay, so he joined World War One. He went back to Britain,
Yeah.
and he joined World War One as a
That was another trend.
Everyone was
World
doing
War
that.
One.
Trench warfare was all the rage
Yeah.
for like 5 years.
Literally rage.
He was part of the cavalry.
Oh, that sucks.
yeah. It was World War One though, so it
Is
kind
that,
of
is that a shit position?
Well, that's what was kind of so noteworthy about World War One. It was the first war that cavalry was rendered ineffective completely.
Oh yeah, because of like machine guns.
like guns in general. Yeah.
Yeah, and like when they would retreat, like usually the idea was you just chase after them with their cavalry. But cavalry are really fucking easy to shoot if you have a machine gun. So you had to chase them on foot, so you could take cover and stuff.
Yeah.
So it became this ineffective foot race when things would advance, and so you could never get anywhere. And it wasn't until we invented tanks, which are just better cavalry, that we could actually break lines.
Sweet.
Yeah, the thing about World War One is I don't know that much about World War One.
The coolest thing I ever heard about World War One was I forget the technical term, but it was like progressive artillery barrages, where you would be charging, and in front of you, they had it timed so that it was like a constant wall of dirt being caused by an artillery barrage, and you were just right behind it.
So you couldn't see.
So that, like they couldn't see,
Oh, so
and
they couldn't see
they were
you.
getting pinned down the whole time.
I'm sure that
but it
never
had to
went-
happen in waves.
And then you went in and just cleaned out anyone who survived the
Yeah.
artillery.
Makes sense.
The battle of the Somme, people were drowning in mud because there was so much artillery used that the ground got so churned up. There was no vegetation at all, so nothing held it together. So as soon as it rained, and it rained for like a week, people just sank.
Oh God.
And they just, because imagine just
Right.
more artillery got used in like one day than ever in history.
Right.
And
Dang.
the ground just got so churned up, it became like, did you just fidget spin on the ground? People would just sink and die.
We're all about that fidget.
That's
life
what
now.
Mordor was based on. It came out of that era.
I didn't see any drowning mud scenes in Mordor.
Well, just the idea of like the bleak, desolate, lack of vegetation, just all evil and chaos. It was World War I battle scenes inspired Mordor.
I mean, everything I've heard about World War I, everyone's like, yeah, that was really
yeah, no one
fucked
really
up.
gave it like 3 stars, or it was all
No,
1 star.
It was all 1 star, and it was all like
on every scale.
it was like the war where they didn't
It was like a 0.
have any rules really. That was a war where they're like, we need to start making rules. 'Cause this is fucked up.
No, actually, they had rules before that to try and avoid this war, and then they broke them all like immediately because the stakes just got higher and higher and higher.
Well, I'm talking about rules of engagement. Yeah, they
had
had
it. They had it.
chemical warfare. They
They did, yeah.
They did.
Flamethrowers and
There
shit.
they had a series of meetings before the war that outlawed a bunch of different types of munitions, and then everyone just went back on it.
They're like, boys, this is gonna be a clean fight.
Yeah.
And then when
Such
pulled
a
out there,
strange concept to me.
it is weird.
It's just
So
like
where's,
we're gonna make rules about how we're gonna kill each
Well,
other.
what's really interesting about World War I is it was the transition from professional armies led by monarchies. Like almost every power that was in that war, I think, except France and us, were still monarchies.
Right.
Like the Kaiser, you know,
Yeah, okay.
and there was the Russian king or whatever, the Austrian emperor.
Okay.
Everyone was a monarchy with a professional army. The idea of total war was from Napoleon, like right before it, where the whole population went to war. That never happened before that.
Yeah,
And then World War I hits, and everyone went into total war.
Weird.
that was big.
Yeah, it was it changed everything.
Yeah. So he was in World War I. He survived, surprisingly. And then
You know,
cavalry.
another sick thing about World War I is we didn't understand like PTSD yet. So when people would freeze up in the trenches,
they'd shoot him
yeah,
on your own side. Yeah.
yeah, it would be considered cowardice and abandoning your post, and they executed so many people who were just mentally fucked.
That was the weird thing. And there's so much honor. Like, it was such a, like,
Well, war was still glorified in the zeitgeist
Yeah.
because it was transitioning again from a time of like professional armies
Right.
and serving your king and doing all that stuff.
yeah.
This is right when, like, that's why communism came out of that a little bit. It's part of what ended the war was Lenin spreading that kind of intellectual contagion into the East German lines of
Okay.
you're a victim of the power, right? There's a king in a palace somewhere and you're in a trench and this isn't good,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
But before that, people weren't really invested in the war. They just kind of did their job and a professional went and did it.
Sure.
But now you're getting drafted and everyone's dying.
Yeah.
And they would also, to like have cohesion in units, they would take a village and you'd be a unit with all your friends that you've grown up with. And imagine how tight knit communities were back then when
Right.
you didn't travel a lot.
Sure.
It'd be like generations of people that have grown up together. They would go out and then they would lose one battle and that whole fucking village is just dead.
Right.
Right? Everyone that they sent, this village now has no men.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge bummer.
Yeah, that works.
Bit of a damper.
Which is why I want a vacation in Europe. a lot of women.
but World War I, 1-star war.
Oh, definitely.
Very bad.
2 thumbs down. I would give it.
Yep.
I would not recommend it if you can avoid it.
I think all the
I
critics
give it a rotten rating.
Yeah.
And I usually rate wars pretty well, so when you normalize it against my previous...
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite was Desert Storm in 91.
That was your favorite war?
Which is it was so funny. We had Iraqis surrendering to drones.
Were you using drones in 91?
Yeah,
What kind?
they were like surveillance drones. Yeah, I don't think they carried munitions yet,
No.
but we had stealth fighters, and they had Cold War tanks. You know, and we had the
Yeah.
A-10 Thunderbird. Like, good luck.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so the weird thing about this guy, everything seems pretty normal so far. I mean, I guess as normal as it was.
Well, he
back
seems
then.
pretty adventurous.
Yeah.
Atypical traveler.
He's a
Yeah.
typical
So
adventurer.
but he was writing poetry all on the way. So he has a bunch of famous books and poems. But the thing that caught my eye is that he he was said to have been untamable as a child. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Just like the horses that he tamed.
And he died in mysterious circumstances in a boating accident.
Oh, he was probably hanging out with old Hardy or Tardy.
Yeah.
Jacques Alexander Tardy.
Yeah, he probably was.
He ate the
He
gruel.
ate the castor oil.
So here's what happened on the boat. He disappeared when returning from a party to a friend's yacht, the Osprey,
I love this guy.
in the Salcombe
This is how Jake wants to go.
estuary. The rowing boat. So he was rowing back to the yacht after partying.
Never mind.
Oh, if you have to row yourself?
Yeah.
That's how that's how they did it back then. 1930.
Yeah, they probably didn't have like good motors that they could.
Yeah,
No,
everyone
but
was rowing.
they had other people who were the motors.
Yeah.
You didn't have to pay them.
Well, let me
Oh,
see.
in 1930 you did.
1930.
Actually, it doesn't say that he's rowing. It says the rowing boat capsized,
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, so they had
back
bad
in.
rowers.
I'm back in.
and his body was never found, despite Garston being a strong swimmer, and the other two occupants survived.
Got hit with an
Ooh,
oar.
fishy.
Ooh, yeah.
No, I mean so he left in a state of
Literally fishy.
three.
Is there any motive here? Like, was he kind of an asshole?
I don't know. It doesn't go. I think we should read a whole book on this guy.
Let's get to the part of the story that made you think it was worth talking about.
We just actually went on that. Yeah, we
Oh,
just
okay.
touched about that.
Okay,
yeah.
a mysterious death at sea.
It was that
Yeah.
part.
Okay, gotcha.
Honestly, after you've gone through thousands of Wikipedia pages, anything like that, after you've seen your 100th like city stub, or there's a lot of bugs, like a lot of bugs.
Okay,
Really?
we'll
That's
do our
something we need less
Butterflies.
of.
bugs. Yeah, we'll do our best to expound on it then.
He only left 1,000.
So how about this? This is a victim of our times. It's hard to murder people now, right? Like you can't just get away with it like you used to.
I don't know. I've always felt like it'd be easy.
Depends what country you're in, and
In this country,
You think it
there's a
would be
lot of
easy?
luck. There's a lot of luck involved. I think something like 60% of murders go unsolved.
Really?
Or something, right? Or maybe it's 40%.
That's a pretty good.
I'm a victim
odds.
of the propaganda of those cop shows where
I can't remember.
America's
if you-
Most Wanted, like,
if
we'll always get you.
either like slightly more than half of a chance of getting away with it, or slightly less.
Am I weird that was one of my first thoughts when we went on a cruise for the first time? I was at the back of the ship looking over it, like, I could just murder someone right now.
You could throw someone off.
Yeah.
It's not weird,
But I
but
think
it is a
people
little
have-
creepy.
People have tried that, right?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Haven't gotten away with it because of those stupid kids.
Well, there's probably
That-
cameras
you
everywhere
might have
on
gotten
boats,
away
too.
What I'm saying is like it would be easier to murder a stranger probably.
Yeah, I think
Stranger on a
Yeah,
train.
it's a lot
I've heard
harder
that.
when you have a motive and
If
people
you
start
know, if you
investigating it.
know them, that's most murders is people you know.
It would be
Right.
hard for me to murder someone and get away with it because everyone would suspect me immediately.
Oh, I thought because you had some moral compunctions about it and some reservations.
Well, yeah,
No, that's
I wouldn't
not it.
murder someone. That's why I haven't murdered anyone. Is because I'm opposed to it.
you're
in
anti-murder.
general. I'm anti-murder.
That's good. I agree with that stance.
I'm not into killing people.
Do you
I'm
think
a
there's a
moderate.
justified killing?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you read Crime and Punishment?
No,
Dostoevsky? Oh, okay.
I haven't.
They tackle that really well.
What about like revenge, like revenge murders, like vengeance murders?
That's what Crime and Punishment is.
yeah.
It's-
I read the first half of that.
They
and I was
try
like,
their.
I don't have any.
So they put this character in like he's like starving and really desperate, and someone he loved got murdered by this person. So they give him every benefit of the doubt to like make this a justified killing, and then he kills the person, gets away with it, and then it's how he was not the same person after the act as he was before, and that's like the real punishment is the internal struggle, and
Right,
there's some
okay.
rules you just can't break, and,
Sure.
and that kind of thing.
Well, I just saw a
Interesting.
video on Reddit where this guy was molesting this kid, and the dad found out, and like the guy was going to get tried at a trial, but there's a video.
Oh,
of,
he shoots him.
yeah, there's
like
a video.
in
He's
front
like
of the
standing there.
cameras.
Yeah, he's walking to the courtroom. There's a guy at the payphone, and then he walks by and he turns around and he just shoots him right in the head.
Yeah.
Jake, what are your stance on that?
Send him to jail for the minimum.
I don't know.
No, they didn't send him to jail at all. He got probation.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I kind of, I don't know. I mean,
I still don't think that's.
I think
that's
everyone
not-
should be
we
able
ha-
to get a trial,
We
right?
have a system. We have a system. Yeah, he broke one.
didn't
how
know.
promising? How much potential did this kid have?
Well, they didn't. He did, first
Okay.
of all, I don't think he knew for sure.
If you have a shitty kid and some guy fucks your kid, like,
What I'm saying is, I don't even know.
I want to articulate our differences right here. It's kind of interesting. I think most laws are built on. Do you know the difference between like Kantian ethics and utilitarian ethics?
I know what utilitarian ethic. Oh, Kant, like under Kant.
Yeah, Kant. Yeah, it's principle based ethics. Like you do something that's right and you don't do things that are wrong, no matter the circumstances. And I think that's what we try to make our laws versus utilitarian, where it's the ends justify the means kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it's happiness for the greatest number of people. It's similar to ontological and teleological ethics.
Yeah.
Which are is it more about the results or is it more about fairness?
Right.
So
Isn't it? what does ontological mean? Because I think the ontological
There's also an
argument for God.
ontological argument for God, which is a different thing.
Is that the really cool one? It's like a brain teaser where to exist is better than not to exist.
Yeah,
And thinking, if you can conceive of it,
it basically
like-
boils down
That's what we're
to
doing.
There's
for
three
us to
steps.
have an idea of perfection, there has to be such a thing as perfection.
Right,
but
right.
it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. I don't like it.
yeah, but it's hard to argue against. It's like a logical loophole.
It's not
It's like-
really
it's
a
like
loophole.
it's like
just,
three steps
it's
that
just
all
making
seem logical.
a drastic assumption that you could just make and like.
It's probably like a language loophole more than anything. It's probably
Exactly.
just the fact that we
Yeah.
have an idea that means that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have ideas of lots of things that don't exist.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
What's that
So-
one? It's like a 2-panel image. It's a meme, and it's like he's putting his finger up to object about something, and then he puts it down, and he looks confused.
Never heard
You
of
seen
it.
that?
No.
Shit. What I have that reaction to it. I'm like, that's not right, but I don't know how to argue against that.
Nothing's right.
Okay, that's a huge topic.
Yeah.
we could go deep on that one.
All
But
right.
like the classic example of these ethics is there's like a train coming, and you're at where the tracks fork, and
Oh, you get the train to run over the fat person.
well, that's actually the next step. Yeah. So the first layer is usually there's 3 people tied to the tracks and 1 guy tied to the tracks, and if the train continues to go straight, and
Right.
you do nothing, it'll run over 3. But if you flick the switch and it runs over one, then you committed the act that murders the person.
Right. But you also saved
So
the
if-
most people.
Right. So if you choose it that way, that's utilitarian ethics.
Right.
You save the 3, but
Right.
under Kant ethics, you don't murder the 1.
Right. Because you didn't do any action.
Right. So and sometimes that's not like a severe enough example for people.
Right.
So the other one is there's
That's
a
pretty
bus.
severe.
You're on a bridge and there's a bus going underneath or some big vehicle and there's like a family down there. Do you push a fat guy off the bridge in front of the bus to stop it? Because that's a more like instead of
Like
flipping a
you
switch.
had to push
Right.
a person.
Right.
How fat is this guy?
Fat enough to stop a bus. I don't
But
know.
not so fat that you can't push him off the bridge.
right.
Snorlax.
You're
fat.
just the right size person for the situation.
Okay.
But it's like another level, right?
It's a
'Cause you're-
small bus.
You're touching them and pushing them
Yeah.
versus like this proxy mechanism of the switch.
don't
It's
know.
more hands-on.
I don't know if I would.
Right. So that's Kantian
I think
ethics.
I think
You
it
don't murder the
depends.
person to save the family.
I think it depends on the circumstance. I think in that one, so the first one, people are tied up on the tracks. Right?
Yeah. You
None of
can't-
them
you
had a
can't
choice.
untie
in
him
it.
in time.
I would go the utilitarian route. I'd
Yeah.
kill the one person.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because none of them are at fault there. Now,
But you
with
would
the
be.
fat person,
You would be.
See,
You would be at fault for
you're-
killing someone.
No, what he's going
No.
to do, he's going to layer on the baggage of that person being fat. He's going to evaluate their life differently. What if it's a family of really fat people? All right.
no, what I'm saying is on the fat person case, I'm actually going a different direction than you think I am.
okay.
I'm not, the fat guy's just standing on a bridge minding his own business. The
Right.
family's fucking standing in front of a fucking bus.
Oh,
Fuck
opposite,
them.
opposite.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
They can all fucking eat a dick. I don't give a shit.
Also, you don't know that the guy's gonna be fat enough to stop the bus. You might think so.
yeah, you
but-
might
Okay.
end up just killing some fat guy for no reason.
Jake,
Okay,
I have altered the deal. What if they're on the sidewalk and the bus driver is like asleep or unconscious? Or
Oh, Fatty's gonna die immediately. Fatty is done.
This also plays into can anybody actually react quick enough in that type of
It's
situation?
theoretical.
Sure,
Yeah,
I know
no.
it's theoretical, but if that actually played out, you wouldn't do it because you wouldn't think about it quick
Oh, if it
enough.
actually played out, I wouldn't do it because I don't want to be involved.
right.
I don't give a shit.
There's
And-
also that.
And you would go to jail forever
There's
for
so
pushing
much-
a guy in front of a
Right.
bus.
Yeah, I don't
This is
care.
where there's a logical breakdown.
I don't
for
care
me.
if there's a way
These
to
don't
do
really
it
make
where
sense.
nobody dies. If I have to get my hands dirty, I'm not doing it. I don't give a shit. It's not my fucking problem.
Good to know when if you're traveling with Jake and you're relying on him.
Well, no, it's you guys. It's different.
So like a more minor
Some
version.
random family. I don't give a shit about them.
A more minor version of this, you're like driving along the road and you see that a car is about to run into somebody else, and then you swerve, tap them, and it helps stop the other car from getting hit.
Yeah, but then my car has damage to it.
Exactly. You still don't want to get involved.
I don't know if I'd swerve
So
past someone ever.
the utilitarian thing that you're evaluating there is the loss of life versus the car damage, and you need to really weigh that. Is that
One
what
of,
you're saying?
one of those is going to affect me, and the other one isn't.
Sorry,
No,
I
they'll both
explained
affect
that.
you. I promise.
I explained that improperly. If you swerve to hit a car, to not let the car hit somebody that was just standing there, like a pedestrian. So you mess up your car and the other person's car, but nobody dies.
Are they in the road?
Right, but
Doesn't matter. The question
scenario A is someone I don't know hits someone else I don't know, and it doesn't affect my life at all. And scenario B is my car has damage and I have to explain to my insurance company what I did, and they argue that it's my fault, and it takes
Right.
like 3 months to
And
sort
plus,
out.
insurance
scenario-
companies
right.
want you to fax things for some reason, which is so much work nowadays.
It's
Where are
irritating.
you going to go to
as hell.
fax something?
So no, I'm sorry that pedestrian is going to die.
And scenario
it's not
three
my
is,
problem.
Scenario 3 is I probably wouldn't have thought about it in time.
No, that's the realistic one. No one has like spidey senses where you stop time. You're like,
Right.
okay,
Exactly.
If I knew
At,
this,
at the very least, I can confidently say I don't.
I do think I react quickly to things sometimes, but I still don't think you go to that level of thinking that quickly.
no.
Well,
I don't
that's
think so.
a
like if
pretty
somebody-
high risk move.
If something's like dropping in front of me, I'm like, oh, I'll try to catch that.
yeah.
What if you
That's
go
about
to
it.
hit the other car out of the way, and then you hit the person instead of the car, and so now you've
Right.
damaged someone else's car, you've
killed
damaged
a
your own
person,
car,
right.
and you've still killed the
Right.
person.
Yeah.
Then you're fucked.
I'll usually try to do whatever I like. If someone's about to get hit by a car, I'll try to like push him out of the way or something. But
Right.
I don't think about it.
Right.
I'm not like
No.
okay, I can push him out and probably get out in time.
I think that's my point is that these questions are hard because you have no idea how you actually will react.
yeah, it's more.
That's
so-
like that song, what is it, by the 21 Pilots?
I have no idea.
Where he's like, if you had to save somebody from a bullet, would you actually do that? You don't really know.
Right.
Yeah.
Just did
That was
who
a
it
really
was.
bad version of that song.
did a
Can't remember what it
CPR
is.
class, and you have to get consent from the person to help them.
And they're like passed out.
Yeah, you can only perform CPR if they give you consent or they're unresponsive.
Right.
Yeah, if they can't give you consent, then
But
you're
luckily,
fine.
Isn't there a law
luckily
against that?
kinda a
in
little
California,
different than
California, we have Good
No,
Samaritan law.
Good Samaritan doesn't apply if they're conscious.
if
they
they're
have to give you
conscious and
consent.
in a sound
Sure.
state of mind, which is
Yeah.
an important distinction,
Yeah.
and they say
if
no,
they're-
fuck you, leave me alone, and then you try to help them.
Okay,
anyway,
yes.
then
If
you're
someone's
now-
saying no, then that's clear.
Right.
But if someone can't say yes, doesn't mean it's a no.
In what case would you use CPR if they're conscious?
well, Heimlich or just
it
rendering
okay,
usually
sure.
applies to Heimlich.
I thought you meant specifically
It was
CPR. I was like,
CPR
wouldn't that-
class.
Well,
but it
it's
was
CPR and first aid
Yeah.
too.
Okay,
So,
that makes
so if
sense.
they're bleeding out and they're like, "No, leave me the fuck alone," and they still seem like completely lucid, then
Right.
you're not allowed.
I'll
to
take my
help them.
chances.
Well, like they're
Right.
choking and you Heimlich
But you know what they
break a
say?
rib.
They say you just
Yeah,
wait
right,
for them to
right.
lose consciousness because it usually doesn't take that long
Right.
at that point, and then you help them.
People can hold their breath like a minute under good circumstances. If
Right.
you're panicked and choking, you got like 30 seconds
or you
and
just
you're going out.
you just let them die because fuck them. You know,
I'll just take my chances and just
they don't
help
teach you
them.
that in the class. They teach you that in life, and on the streets.
All right, do you guys want to new
in
topic?
the class, they're like, let me talk to you
think-
guys about overpopulation and how to really apply this knowledge.
I think we
now
really
we're
got
gonna eat the person. all right, yeah. Where
we got Crosby covered, right? Crosby Garston.
Who's Crosby?
Died mysteriously
I forgot
at sea.
already.
Died
He
mysteriously at sea.
explored most of the world.
I honestly
and fought
feel
in
like
World
he
War
wanted
I.
to like get away from his wife or something.
Still convinced he's a slave owner.
Do we have any reason to believe that? Was he married?
He was married. He left 1,500 pounds to his wife. That's it. That was
Wow.
But that was
that
pretty
a lot?
heavy.
That was a decent
back then,
amount
that's
back
kinda
then.
a lot, right?
1,500
well,
pounds
that
of
was
what?
19.
That was how much he weighed.
Okay.
His widow was the mayor.
So he was the fat person.
What?
yeah.
Well, this is an interesting.
He was
route
gay?
that we didn't
Actually,
even-
wait. That was 30 years after.
Was he gay?
His disappearance. I don't know.
30 years after he died, he married someone.
Well, in the
no.
1920s, no women were mayors, right?
1960s.
Were mayors or mayors?
Oh,
1962 is when
Oh.
she became the mayor.
just kidding.
But he died, quote unquote, in 1930.
Oh, so it was
Well, no, he
his
definitely
widow
died.
became mayor later.
Well, they never found his body.
Okay, that's true.
So you don't know.
Well, he didn't swim back to shore, weren't they?
Well, he's
way out in
probably
sea?
not alive now.
Well, no,
floated.
because he was going to the boat from a party, so I'm assuming he was going from like the shore to
Oh.
a yacht.
Yeah. He might have just Thomas Crowned this whole thing.
He
He
might
was
have.
sick of his life and checked out.
Yeah.
A traveler like that could disappear pretty easily.
Yeah. That's what the big controversy
He may
is.
still walk among us.
Now you're getting it. Now you're
Well,
like,
now he's
wow.
probably dead just based on his age.
I'm assuming he's dead
Right.
now. Yeah, he's dead for sure now. But
Did we talk about how life expectancy is kind of a misleading stat that people throw around?
I know we've talked
Yeah,
about it. I don't know
we
if we did it on the.
discussed it.
Did we do it on the podcast? I don't know.
Okay.
Essentially,
Well,
too long didn't read is
a lot of it's infant
kids dying.
mortality.
It's all to do with infant mortality skewing
Yeah.
the stats. Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
thinks like people used to just all die when they were 50 because that was the life expectancy, and now it's like 90. That's
Well,
not true.
It's all about medians versus.
Yeah, I was going to say, we definitely talked about averages and medians.
although people were living to 90 back then. I mean,
Yeah.
people are living more people are living to 90 now than back then.
Yeah,
Since-
that's
since
true.
this-
Actual average life expectancy, not
Is-
factoring infant mortality, has still improved.
since
Yes.
since the physiological makeup that we call human beings has existed, people have lived to 90.
Yeah.
It's all been
so
infant mortality
the max
skewing.
age
Makes
is
sense.
not changing much.
Right.
Is basically the
Right.
yeah.
Yes, but more. I think more people are getting that max age.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, but the implication is like through nutrition and science, we're like just so much healthier and living longer.
Medicine.
That's not true. It's babies were dying, or you're dying in combat, or
Well, it's true,
Right.
just
You
not to
had
the
some injury, like,
extreme.
just
that
getting the
people think it
flu
is.
would kill
Yeah.
tons of people.
It
back
is-
then.
it is- I
There's just
think-
fewer
yeah.
things killing us.
I
is
agree.
all.
I agree that it's skewed, but it is still true.
Well, it's just the conclusion they draw from the stat.
Yes.
is
Yeah.
Misinterpreted.
Yes.
There's fewer things killing us. There's nothing like different about our biology thanks to medicine.
Yes. All right.
Well, you can't say that the medicine is the thing that's keeping us alive longer, though.
And in many cases, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, this
It's not
this
changing our
week
biology.
in crazy health things people have told me. I was talking about how I like to light cigars with a butane torch because it's hot enough to like get that good burn.
Yeah,
and
which is
and it's
apparently
flavorless.
all wrong if you talk about the real sticklers of cigars.
It's the best solution next to cedar spills. Cedar spills are the correct way to do it.
Yeah,
But
it's
then
so
you have to
tedious. I hate
buy
doing it that way.
planks of cedar,
and you
yeah,
have to
it's a
keep
pain in the ass.
relighting them.
Yeah. So
Do you guys know what we're talking about?
No,
Yes.
no, no.
You like contaminate the flavor by using matches and things like that.
So matches, the only way that's okay to do it with matches is to light them and wait for the head to completely burn off so that there's no chemicals in it other than like the wood. The wood combusting is apparently an okay chemical.
Well, if you
the
put it
flavor.
in your head that the flavor is transmittable, which I don't even believe that there's a discerning palate who can really pick up like match phosphorus through their cigar.
Right.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
But either way, if you make that first leap that you can sense flavor, don't roll your eyes. There's no way.
No, I think there's a degree of like, so they say Zippos are the worst one because Zippos have like a
I can
distinct
smell
scent.
my Zippo when I
Right.
use it. I think it just uses so much gas, and I don't think it completely combusts.
Right.
all of
That's
its
exactly
fuel.
the problem
Some
is
of
that
it
the
actually goes
byproducts of the
into it.
combustion
Yeah, I think
are
that's
not clean.
that's a more extreme one.
All right. Well, we'll add it to our blind taste test / blind smoke test.
I'm not saying I have that level of palate. I don't think I do, but
Yeah.
I think it's possible that somebody could pick that
The
up.
very first whiff of a match, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like if you just light the match and then light the cigar right away.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's probably not great.
But why would it permeate through the entire cigar? Like, wouldn't you just let the cigar burn
Right.
for a like?
I
few
don't think
minutes?
that's what
Because
they're saying. But
well, part of it is that you're sucking air through the entire
Right.
cigar every time you inhale.
Yeah.
So
Or
it's
is
not
that the tip?
inhalable.
But the
Pull it.
time it takes to travel from the platform that you strike the match to the tip of the cigar, I feel like that's enough to
burn
that
the
Well, and
phosphorus.
I think the argument is more that those first few pulls are going to be worse, and you want to enjoy
Yeah.
the entire cigar
Okay.
and all that stuff.
Sure.
So
But-
you make the leap that the flavor is transmittable, so then you're going to get something with a good flavor. So they do cedar sticks.
Right.
So butane torches are good because they're flavorless. But
Well, and the jet ones have a more complete combustion, right?
They should
yeah,
be
but
pixie
the
sticks.
problem is they tend to overheat the cigar initially, so your initial pulls are too hot, and then that's the problem with those. But
Wow,
there's-
this
there's
is
still,
such a first world problem.
They're a lot better for pipes too, because you can actually point them down into the pipe.
right,
Yeah.
right. They're great for that. But so my preferred technique is to use a butane torch. I consider the trade off of convenience versus like a fucking cedar spill to be
Well, if
worth
it's
it.
too hot, you hold it a little bit further away. This
Yeah.
is something we can fix.
Yeah. But
Did you
anyway,
have a
someone
point
told
on
me
this?
that the
Yeah, where's this
that
going?
the fumes coming off of them are highly toxic.
Highly.
And that it's really bad for you to do that.
Yeah, we're
You
smoking
should never-
cigars.
I'm like, I'm smoking a stick of carcinogenic material. Like, what the fuck? And they're like, well, not if it's a good cigar. And I'm like, it's
No.
still nicotine.
Yeah, what
You're
are you talking-
burning nicotine. That's the problem.
Well, is nicotine the carcinogen? I
Well,
think that's the
nicotine
addictive
is
component.
slightly carcinogenic, but it's
Is
all
it?
the byproducts of burning the tobacco,
It's
which
the
is
ash.
the shit too.
Right, yeah,
burning
the ash, the
things,
tar,
yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I know
yeah,
you
'cause
get
it
mouth
produces like
cancer.
cyanide as a byproduct
Oh, really?
of like burning tobacco.
Yeah, cigars
And-
don't give you lung cancer because you
Yes,
don't
they
inhale.
do.
No, you don't
They don't
inhale.
get-
You
or
get-
no, it's
that's-
arsenic.
you
They
get
give you
secondhand-
mouth cancer.
Exactly.
But
You
they
If you
still
don't
give you
inhale-
gingivitis. and
Everyone
shit.
says you don't inhale, but it's going into your lungs if you're not inhaling. Like you're still inhaling some.
You're
You've had
not. I
cigars,
don't think
right?
you're inhaling enough to where the
You're not
effect
inhaling
is
as
pronounced.
much.
When you
Yes, you're
inhale
not
a-
inhaling as much.
When you inhale a cigar, you fucking know it.
I've never inhaled it. Yeah,
You choke real
yeah.
quick.
I mean, I think you're right. Like a small amount of it
Yes.
probably gets into your lungs. I mean,
just
even
not
by
as much.
nature of just being in your mouth as you
Just
inhale.
being in the
later.
room.
I think
Right.
if you were still smoking cigars every day, you could probably still get lung cancer.
Yeah, don't
Oh,
do
yeah.
anything every day.
No, cancer like is
Damn
a
it!
big
I go
concern.
pee every day and it stop.
I think the issue is that it's.
I want to talk about this.
Peeing?
Yeah, Jeff just elevated literally my methods of peeing. Jeff has a poop stool for some reason.
I've heard
Oh,
about
yeah.
these.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Those are
yeah,
excellent.
yeah, the squatty
so,
potty.
So he just has a 2-rung step stool in front of his toilet.
It's a step stool?
Yeah, it's just a
I thought it was
regular-
like a little like footstool.
No,
have,
well-
you, have you ever shit with
okay.
the stool? It
I-
feels
no,
better.
This is the first time I've ever
So
seen one.
they make ones that are specifically meant to hug the toilet, and they're little stool that you just like pull out.
Yeah,
like
and pe-
70
people who
bucks.
buy those are chumps because any step stool will work
Yeah,
and you
I
can
just have
use
a
it
step
elsewhere.
stool.
You can use a bucket.
I use a cinder block.
Just turn a bucket upside
Cinder
down.
block's excellent.
I use a small Malaysian child, and he goes on all fours, and I prop my feet
That's
up on him.
you know what's great about
And he
that?
lights my cigar while I'm taking a shit.
Variable height adjustment.
Oh, there you,
know?
go. Yeah.
Because I
Although when they get too big, then they can't get down low enough, and then you have to just,
No, they just
make
lay
them into
flat.
dog food.
They lay flat like in a half plank.
or you stack them up.
Yeah, you start stacking them like
Yeah, you got a
sandbags.
second one.
I can't. We've gone so far that we're just indulging Jake's bullshit and
Yeah.
expounding on it.
Well,
now.
so anyway, back to the cigar.
No,
thing.
wait. I wanna, wait. What are you talking about? You're peeing.
oh,
Is that it?
Well, I think. Well, two things. I think the poop stool is cool because we evolved squatting
Yeah, to squat,
probably,
yeah.
so it makes sense with our biology.
Poop
But-
just like falls out.
so
It's awesome.
the way I interpreted
I love
to
that.
use this
That's a
little
good
device
feeling.
when I walked in there because I only had to pee, and I'm 6'5". I stood on this thing.
That's cool.
So you get
and,
more
and
distance.
peed down into the toilet
It's like peeing off a
king.
canyon.
Oh, it was so fun. Yeah.
Is that
It's
why
just awesome.
there's pee everywhere in
I'm
that
a
bathroom?
sniper.
now?
What are you talking about? No, and I put my hand on the wall in front of me and leaned over it.
I thought it was for the
That's-
next time
that's
that
a
I
drunk
have
move. That's the-
explosive
yeah.
diarrhea in the bathroom. It's so that I have a stool to kick out from under myself and hang myself, so I don't have to clean it up. Because the last time it took a long time to clean up.
Yeah, remember you shouting
I
down,
remember.
Cole, do you have Q-tips?
Yeah.
Well, no, I knew
that
it
was
was
to get
bad.
it out of the grout
I
in
knew
the
it was,
tile.
I knew it was bad when the shower turned on.
Yeah, when your buddy goes to take a shit and he's gone for 10 minutes and then you hear the shower begin.
Well, I ran up
Things
a,
have elevated.
And then,
The problem
oh God.
The problem was that my girlfriend took the downstairs toilet and I had to run up a stairway, and it's like a well. You know, you get that pumping motion that pressurizes it, and then when it comes out, it's explosive. And back to the cigar thing. I looked it up, and the byproducts of burning butane are CO2 and H2O.
Oh, no.
So water and carbon dioxide.
No. Oh, great.
So
Those are the worst things.
Dude, everyone who's ever breathed CO2 has died. You know that.
everyone who's ever had water eventually died. Yeah,
I know.
True.
yeah.
If you
People
inhale-
drown in water.
Yeah,
You know
hydrogen
this?
monoxide.
If you inhale it,
God, it's terrible.
Yeah, if you're completely surrounded by water, you will die within minutes,
Oh my God.
or carbon dioxide for that matter.
they should put a Prop 65 label.
on water.
Just water and
On everything.
It's just
on
floating.
people. They should tattoo it on your ass from birth.
Can't they do that, like that radioactive isotope stuff? So on a water molecule, they could mark the ones that have a Prop 65 label.
All of them.
That would be cool.
I don't know.
Individually, we need to pay
That's
someone.
how they mark things when they're testing.
It sounds really tedious.
We need to
Yeah,
pay
but it's
someone in a lab
important
to do
work.
this.
We need to make sure that people know what they're ingesting.
Boy.
All right, let's do another topic.
Yeah.
We've really exhausted.
How do we feel about Crosby?
I think Crosby. I think Crosby got away.
I've already
I think
forgot
he had
about him.
I think he had a side hoe. He was going to a yacht on a party. He probably met a girl at one of these parties.
He James Bonded it.
He didn't know how to get away from it, and he just
What I
That's a
think
scenario where it's okay to wear a suit with a dive watch.
if you're
Yacht
gonna-
party.
it's the only time.
faking your death in a overturned.
Yeah, and they just find your jacket.
What's cool about Crosby and probably his crowning achievement is that he unseated the South African-Brazil frozen chicken trade dispute as our worst topic ever.
No, he did not. Crosby was amazing.
That's pretty bad.
Oh, the trade dispute's still the worst topic?
No,
Yeah, there's
they've
no
all-
winning this one.
They've all been best topics. Trust me, we have the best topics.
Don't bring your...
We,
I had an
I know a lot of
employer
topics.
once
All right,
give
trust
me
me.
a sheet, and I had to rank a bunch of my job responsibilities and be like, rate how important this is on a scale of 1 to 10. And
Yeah.
I turned it in. They're like, no, they should all be 10s. And I'm like, that's not how anything works ever.
They said that?
That's stupid.
Like, why did you give me this?
This is when I was like a martial arts instructor.
They should
So
always-
it was this like old world logic. That
Yeah,
doesn't
you're
make
like,
any
oh,
sense.
I didn't realize this was a trick question.
Yeah, I thought this was about like a practical like thing that helps solve the issue of everyone has a limited capacity for this.
Also strange that he's going to a yacht party, but he only left 1,500 pounds behind. So obviously he's been sequestering his money like over the
Offshore accounts.
over the few months.
Probably
Yeah.
on the yacht.
It's all in
Yeah.
Vanuatu.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This guy got away. He got away.
Yeah, he's fucking some tribal woman with weirdly disproportionately like one tit is bigger than the other, and
Why?
Do they have that in
Vanuatu.
Vanuatu?
Sure, you saw the picture.
Oh, that's
Remember
right.
the woman with the weird, the one that was like an udder,
Dude,
and
that
then
was
the other one
that
was
was
a boob.
10 episodes ago.
What wasn't the other one was a boob? Is that?
Yeah, yeah. One was a cow udder.
So one had like 7 nipples.
No, it was like an individual
Is it
nipple
cigars?
from the
Oh,
udder.
because
You know.
I think an udder is the whole
I
apparatus.
think well, that's the udders.
And then a teat is
Yeah,
the
maybe you're
nipple
thinking
part
You might be right,
of
but,
the udder.
but they've always referred to it as udders.
I'm not dying on this hill.
On a
I don't-
single cow, no one said,
You're right.
go
it is-
touch the
it
udder.
is pluralistic.
You know what? You know
But
what's weird?
at the same time, the teat is more accurate. So
Yeah,
I
The teat-
don't
think it's
know how
a
to reconcile
synonym, I
this.
think.
I don't know how to reconcile this one.
What I'm gonna say is weird. I think the concept of midwives, like having someone
that's a
else,
little strange.
like you know this,
Oh, that would just nurse.
a wet nurse, yeah,
Yeah, what
Yeah.
news?
someone else, like
It's like an old world nurse.
Yeah. Well, they
Yeah.
didn't just have formula back in the day. So if
It's
for some
crazy,
reason,
though.
like some women don't produce, like
But that
others.
wasn't the reason. A lot of them just
Oh,
didn't
really?
want to do it.
Right.
A lot of the rich people just didn't want to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was this trend for a long time of being civilized, and the metric of being civilized was going against nature, right? And
Yeah.
there's a
I
famous
still believe that.
there's a famous story. There's a famous story of a guy at some social gathering, just mucking.
Was his name Crosby?
I don't remember his name, but he
Crosby
died
Carston?
because his bladder exploded
Because he didn't want to pee.
because he didn't want to get up to go to the bathroom because
God.
that wasn't the civilized proper
And
thing
he
to
was the
do.
most civilized person
and he
ever to
died.
exist.
Yeah. Because
He
his
was so
bladder exploded.
civilized
that
it
is
killed him.
commendable.
It killed him.
It's just weird that
Died doing what he loved.
it's weird that even it's weird that
Being
women are like
civilized,
they start producing
fighting
milk
nature.
just being around like a pregnant person. It's like
Is that true? I thought it was.
I thought it was that
I thought it was.
they got pregnant once and then they had continuous nipple
Right.
stimulation.
Yeah, that other thing sounds a lot
I
like
don't know.
bullshit.
I've heard of that. I've heard of it. You've heard of it. You heard like women that get on the same cycle if they spend too much time together and like
Yeah,
I
that's
don't-
true. They're like cattle.
That just sounds like misogynistic propaganda, though.
That's
I
a
don't
real
know.
thing.
Is it really?
Cows do it too. They have issues. They have to mix the cows because they'll all get on the same cycle and it'll fuck up their milk production. And
You'll just go for like a week with no milk.
yeah, I think so.
Your dairy will run dry.
It's a whole problem. So no, there was a guy who managed to lactate supposedly through constant nipple stimulation and watching videos of babies nursing.
There's that placebo effect.
Oh, it's got to be bullshit.
I don't know. I mean, I saw it on TV once like 10 years ago and forgot all the details. So
So it's not backed up at all by anything.
so
Yeah.
probably
I
it's
saw
probably
Independence Day
fact.
on TV, and I'm pretty sure the White House is still around.
I mean, this was
I've seen several movies where the White House is
to
exploded.
be fair, I do remember that this wasn't a movie. This was like a shitty like news story or something. So
all right.
so it has one level of validity above Independence Day, but it's probably like below like Obama's Kenyan.
No,
it literally has no clout, I think is what you're saying.
Well, men and women.
I'm saying
We're a Venn diagram of biology, right?
I'm
Like
saying
we
it doesn't-
share a lot of things. They're just more pronounced in one sex or the other.
it doesn't reach an acceptable
Sure.
level of clout to be reported as fact.
he was also
by me.
probably taking a ton of estrogen.
Probably. He probably just did roids
Like,
and was covering it up.
That is a lot more possible if you were getting the right
You'll grow
hormones.
tits if you
Sure,
start taking
yeah.
estrogen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well,
apparently
Bob
it
had
says
bitch tits.
it was once believed that a wet nurse must have recently undergone childbirth. This is not necessarily the case, as regular breast suckling can elicit lactation via a neural reflex of prolactin production and secretion.
Do you think all three of your nipples can lactate?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think any of
Just the two good ones.
I don't know.
The
about
fully
those.
developed
Hey, I
ones.
wonder if you took estrogen, if the third one would
This,
start developing.
this guy
more.
says that.
Oh.
No, I don't. I think we're missing some of the glands.
I would
right?
like for Cole to have a tit.
I think
on his
males
side.
are. I think males are missing some of the glands that produce milk.
I just think they're dormant or something, right?
Yeah, I don't
Because
know. I think
otherwise,
it's like
how
a
would this
dormancy
estrogen field transition work?
I don't know about
I think it
that.
just turns them on.
But this one, surprisingly, this
Because
guy
why do we have nipples? They're
Adolescence
have-
is basically
nipples have no utility.
They're the
a little
they're
thing
the
like flipping a
scars from when
switch.
we used to be women, because we all started as women.
I developed breast buds when I went through.
We all start as women
adolescence.
until we get the Y chromosome.
Yeah, but you don't have a developed abdomen at that point. There's no. What are
I
you talking
got
about? Scars.
I got.
I mean, it's like the skeleton.
I got some like hard tissue that developed under my nipples.
Why are we talking about? None of
when
us
I went
know
through
anything about
adolescence?
this.
No, we don't.
You remember that when one of my nipples got really big,
I do remember that.
a while?
That was weird.
and then the other one caught up.
Oh, so now you're just normal. You just accepted that's your baseline.
Well, now they're pretty normal looking nipples.
You don't need to show us. That's all right.
But, like,
Stop
pretty
unbuttoning.
normal nipples.
that was normal.
Why do you have just one curly hair?
There's a few. There's a few.
Pull
that out of there.
They're kind of rimmed by hair. It's like a margarita glass. And this one's less hairy.
Do you
But-
want you want salt in your margarita? Do you have hair? Can I get some hair?
Can I get nipple hair?
No, I mean that's that. But anyway, that the doctor was like, look, it's just like sometimes people go through adolescence and nipple
tissue.
gets puffy. For
No,
a
but
little bit.
amazingly,
Weird.
this doctor says there's no medical reason why women should not lactate indefinitely, and they can feed up to
That would be messy.
they can feed up to 5 babies at a time.
Oh, we were meant to reproduce in litters.
How much? That's a lot of calories.
People from third world countries still do.
Yeah, it's
you
gotta
must have
be.
to eat so much
Yeah,
because
probably.
imagine all that. Like you're sustaining 5 other people's lives.
Yeah, but they're tiny people.
They are tiny people, but still, it's like one other person. Still, I can't sustain.
Another thing from the CPR is when you blow air into a baby, it's like just a tiny
Yeah,
little
because
breath.
you can pop them.
Why are you
Well,
why are you CPRing so much lately?
It's when you trend. It's like fidget spinning. But you can blow air too hard into them, and it'll bypass their lung valve and go into their stomach cavity, and that causes all kinds of other problems.
Boy.
But their lungs are like $50 sized things. They're tiny little guys.
Wow, I really hope I'm never in a situation where I have to perform CPR on anyone.
I
But
wonder
a
if I
baby,
could
I would be
pop
so.
a baby.
If you could what?
Pop a baby
Sure you could.
by blowing into it hard enough through
my
the
God.
mouth.
Yeah, if you
that
just
it
get like a
pops.
compressor.
I mean, their lungs
No,
are very.
well, no, I
saying
mean manually.
like a human popping.
Like,
No,
like
you
if I
couldn't.
wanted to
You
make,
couldn't.
like some woman's at the movies and she brings a crying infant and I like take it from her and I just blow into it really hard and it pops all over her fucking face.
It wouldn't.
Babies are really resilient.
Sprays
man.
intestines and shit.
No,
like, that would
you
be
couldn't
great.
pop the skin,
They're
but you might
all-
go like rupture a lung or something.
Yeah, probably.
Sure, you could probably kill one by doing that.
Yeah.
Our skin's elasticity.
I want to
is really
inflate
strong.
it like a balloon so it pops onto the person.
You want to like full poppage.
I love how we're
don't think
talking
that's
about
possible.
this
So, I mean,
ridiculous
we're getting
hypothetical.
jaded.
So we need to know.
Fuck people who bring babies to movie theaters. I would pop them if I had the opportunity.
God damn it.
Yeah, don't blame the baby.
We were talking about justifiable murder earlier. Well, the baby has their genetics. It needs to be cleansed.
I told you about my moral quandary one day, right? When I went to the theater. I think I told you, Jeff.
Maybe.
It
Tell me
was.
again.
I went to.
Oh,
I had like a Monday off, and I
think
went
I
with
remember
Allie
this.
to like a noon showing at the
bad.
theater, and it
This
was
is bad.
interesting. I forget what movie we were watching, but it was like just us in the theater, and then some like 16, 17-year-old kids, two of them, came in late to the movie. So I thought they were just theater hopping on a Monday, you know?
Right.
And they sat like right behind us, which I thought was weird and rude because the theater's empty.
Right.
Find your own seats, get on my bubble.
Right.
And then they're like making noise the whole time. And then I gave them a stern look.
Right.
And then it like escalated from there. Like every time the hero in this movie like got hurt, they would go like, "Oh, ouch," you know, and
Right.
weird shit like that. And
So
then
does this end with you and Allie walked out of the movies?
No,
and
I-
they never
this is
came
bad.
out.
I went to
This
go
is
get.
bad.
I
This is
went. I
bad.
stood up to go get a manager. I was like, "You guys are fucking out of here!" I'm like, "I'm done with this." And I went to go
Yeah.
get a manager. And as I'm walking, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." She's like, she was severely autistic or something like that.
I don't give a shit. They still sat behind you.
Yeah. So
The manager of the autistic person should have known better than to sit her.
so there were a
behind you.
couple factors that I couldn't reconcile. Like, if you have a severely autistic person, why are you going to the movies? But they went to a noon showing on a Monday
Right.
that only had two other people in the
Yep.
theater.
So they did it right.
So if
Yeah.
you're gonna go to a movie,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
sat behind you.
Yeah, but then they sat right behind me.
That's where they went wrong.
That's
Yeah.
the problem.
if
Yeah,
they
I
were in the
agree.
corner, you wouldn't really cared. Like whatever. If there's
Yeah.
if there's a murmur,
I assume you had middle front or middle seats.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like middle back.
Middle, I should say. Yeah.
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 So they probably just wanted the same view.
Yeah, but fuck them. They don't get to do that.
I agree. It's a little shitty, but at the same time.
But at that moment,
you
you're
can't-
probably like, I'm the asshole here.
yeah.
I was.
No,
yeah, well,
I don't
that's
think-
how I started. But then I think where I ended up was they're the assholes. They just shouldn't go to theaters.
No, they
or,
were the
or if
assholes.
they do, they need to sit somewhere else. Or just tell me. Because I gave them the look like twice.
Right.
Anyone who
You know?
makes their
But-
problem your problem is an asshole.
Thank you.
But they probably have to deal with it so often that they don't want to like
that's not-
bother everybody and tell them every
Then go
time.
sit in the corner.
That's not his problem that they have to.
But
deal
it's
with that
also
often. That's the them problem.
It's actually technically not their problem either.
Yeah, I mean they clearly don't give a shit, but they should be removed
So,
from the theater.
I'm not saying
it
that
should become their problem.
I don't know
that's-
that they acted the best way, but I also don't know that they acted the
the
worst
human
way.
condition here, where the postmodernists go wrong, and they say there's an infinite ways to interpret and play this game we call life.
Right.
It's not true. There's an optimal way where it has to be like a repeatable set of actions that is iterable over time with other people. You have to do things in a way that people won't. You have to like respect them too
Sure, but
for this
then
to
everybody-
work.
the
It's
pro-
technically like not anyone's problem, right? Like this is
Right.
how they are. This is how we are. But if you want to like go forward in life like
Yeah,
this,
it's not anybody's problem if I smear shit on them. The
problem
I'm
with-
happy.
But
I agree
but
with what you're saying.
in
though.
reality, like
Hold
you
on.
need to figure out a way to negotiate. It's like dancing or like driving on the freeway. There has to be these set rules of behavior for us to get anything done.
Yeah,
right?
and
not-
one of those
I'm
rules
not
then you can
disagreeing with
improvise.
you, but
Shut
the problem
the
is
fuck up in
not,
a movie theater.
Not
Yeah.
everybody has the same point of view as you.
Right, but they're wrong.
Everybody has a different lens.
Thank you.
That's not necessarily true, though.
I think
It is though.
I think
It is.
No.
The one rule
There's
in
gonna be-
society is you shut the fuck
What?
up in a movie theater.
No.
It's all,
That's the only rule.
if we don't have that, what
Article
separates
1,
us from the
Section 1 of the
animals?
If we follow that rule, we're fine. Trump can be president. All this other
If
shit.
you want
you're
to
like,
if you want to have a joke answer about it, yes, obviously. But we have a democracy. Like obviously we can't all agree on the same
Okay,
issues.
but take something like driving. You have to when you interact with other people, you can improvise a little. You can switch lanes, but the
Sure.
basic framework of like I drive on the right
right.
has to be agreed upon, or there's chaos, right? Like Dante might be a good example. If you can agree on the basic step, then you can improvise and express yourselves and have some subjectivity around that framework. But it
Right.
has to start with something concrete. Basic rules like you just don't step on people's shoes in a bar, and you
Yes.
and you don't talk in a
Yes.
fucking theater.
Thank you.
But
what you do outside of that is fine, but a foundation has to agree for there not to be
Sure.
chaos.
I agree that there's a foundation there, but imagine the situation where say you have an autistic kid or you have an autistic friend that's going to have this problem. They probably did as close to the best thing as they could. They probably shouldn't have sat right next to you, but other
Yeah.
than that,
Right, which I can see.
pretty solid.
Yeah.
But they could
So-
have just watched the movie at home.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
over in
but-
the corner, or you know what?
But
They
then
can
all of a sudden you
tell
live
me.
this life that you can never be anywhere near regular society, and that's not what you want to do for
No,
someone that's autistic.
but it is a reality.
Yeah. I agree with that
Disagree.
firmly.
I disagree. I am with Jeff.
It's not
I'm
a-
with
it's
little
not a
Jeff.
pleasant reality.
I'm with little Jeff because you are doing this in your cultural framework because
Yeah.
there's a lot of cultures where you go to theater and it's loud as hell.
Really?
Yeah, but they're wrong.
Yeah.
They're wrong.
No, it's not.
They
It's
should be.
just-
Their
it's-
culture should not exist
Some of the
anymore.
most fun I've ever had in a theater is when everybody is like super into it and yelling and screaming. It is awesome.
But my answer to that is we're not in that culture. We're in the culture where you need to shut up in the movie.
Yeah, they should go to Alabama.
But what I'm saying is like
All the
your
other
whole
retards.
thing with like postmodernism and stuff is like I think their argument is more so on humanity, not taking into account like cultural and actual like societal norms.
And
They're
the
saying like
anomaly.
as a human you can do anything you want, but not
Yeah.
when you're part of a society that has to all agree on a certain
no,
certain
that's-
you know what?
rules.
That's
There's
a
also
real thing.
anomalies to any
You know what the
system.
real
and
solution
you found
here
one.
is?
Yeah,
Is you
that's
have two movie theaters. You have one for all the shitty, terrible,
Yeah.
annoying people.
And instead of
then-
seats, it's a ball pit.
yeah, and then you have one for
give
people
them-
who
they
actually
have fidget
go to the
spinners.
Yeah, I was
theater.
just say just fidget spinners.
Now I'm torn though because I really want to go to the ball pit one.
That's fine. You go to
Worth
the
it,
ball
worth
pit
it.
one to see like shitty movies, right? And then when you want to actually sit down and watch a movie because you're really into it,
Well, here's the
and you
thing.
want to see it in the best possible environment.
There are theaters that don't allow like noise or
Yeah.
So you have a choice. as
I
well.
think there's
well,
no-
we don't have a lot of them here, though. Is the problem? Like, there's that one in
Sinopolis.
Texas that
Yeah, Alamo Draft
Alamo?
House. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love that. I would go to that theater every time
Sure.
because you can flag down a manager without even getting up, and they will just remove anyone who made noise.
I think Sinopolis
And they
has
take them
no
out back and they
kids.
kill them.
yeah.
Doesn't Sinopolis have no kids allowed?
I would love
It might
that.
be an adult theater. I think
that
it
a
might be
thing here?
21 up,
Well,
I think.
yeah, they
actually.
have 21 up
But I've had
theaters.
more problems with adults than kids.
Well,
I
it
agree.
Premieres, I think, like
Yeah.
Jeff was saying, it's fun to get excited, but a Monday afternoon.
You know who's the worst?
Oh, man.
Old people are the
Yes.
worst in theaters.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're
San
awful.
Juan
Oh, because
Capistrano.
they
They
breathe-
react to everything.
They breathe so loudly.
No, not even that. It's because they have no. They don't give a fuck. They'll talk the whole movie. They comment on everything on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
There's-
there's
Oh,
what's her
I don't
name.
like
there's
that.
what's her name, and then like they're talking with the conversation, and
Yeah.
and if you try to get them to be quiet, like just even politely, like,
Well,
they don't
They
care.
can't
on.
modulate their volume either
There
because
was-
they can't hear.
Yeah,
I wanted, so to expound on that, Allie and I think, talk to each other quite a bit in theaters, but we're able to whisper and hear
Right.
each other.
And
Right?
nobody
It's like, it's the
bothers.
perfume effect of old ladies where their senses have decayed to a degree
Right.
that they need to compensate by just drowning themselves in perfumery. Right?
wa-
So maybe speech is the same. They can only just like grunt out at a medium volume. And
Right.
That's as quiet as they can go and still hear it.
and they just don't.
I
Care.
went to like a Thursday night. I think it was like an opening for Skyfall or something like that, and it and it was just chock full of like 60, 70-year-olds, and everybody was talking the entire time. People were breaking glasses left and right because it was like one of those movie theaters that you can order wine. Seriously, probably 6 glasses broke during the movie, and nobody stopped talking. And it was actually one of the most interesting movie experiences I ever had, and was kind of fun as a result.
I
It
think
sucks.
you know what I think this boils down
It
to.
actually made the
is
movie
you just-
better
You
in
just
this
need
case.
options. You just need options for guys like me that don't want. The moment someone talks, I start fantasizing about eating them.
Yeah.
I get my own theater. That's for people who actually want to watch the fucking movie.
Yeah.
And then for people who want to bring their autistic kid in to yelp the whole movie.
Yeah, but
Yelp.
Yelp. They yelp. They whoop, and
Yeah.
they just do it.
One
and
of
that's
the one of
fine.
the hardest things for a person to deal with is when
Is yelping.
Is when the expectations don't meet the reality. That's where all the emotional turmoil in our
Right.
lives derives from. So when you sign that social contract of you buy the movie ticket and you have an expected experience and someone fucks that up for you, there's a very visceral primordial emotion
I hate them.
attached
I
to
just-
it.
also though you have to adjust your expectations for what movie you're seeing.
Yeah,
if you're
that's why I
seeing a
said
children's movie
premieres.
and there's children in there,
Oh, of course.
you can't complain.
My rule
Yeah,
on
do you know what you were
children's
saying?
movies is I see them late at night. Like
That's fine.
At least to
At
7,
least they're
8
trying.
p.m.
At least
Yeah,
show.
but
trying.
then you get a bunch of fucking teenagers too, which
Right.
is
See,
sometimes
but
okay.
But you can expect more out of a teenager than you can out of a child.
Yeah, but like big premieres like the new Star Wars and stuff like that, where people are are kind of too excited, and I'm like, calm down, nerds. Like, I know way more about Star Wars than you guys do, and I'm not this excited.
Yeah.
But you also got to go into this situation knowing that you are going out in public and that you're not going to have your exact way.
Yeah, there's still
End of story.
kind
there's
of a
there's
prescribed pattern of
degree
behavior for every event.
Sure, but
Very
it doesn't mean it's
basic
going to.
courtesy.
I don't go
that you
to a
can expect
football
people-
game and go like, quiet down, people. I'm trying to watch the show. You know, there's context that you.
I mean,
that's the way the world makes sense.
Here's the deal.
But that still might happen.
I think-
I
I
have
think-
been to a football game where it's kind of quiet and you're like, oh, this is bullshit. I wanted the excitement. Why did I go?
I think we're with people who are like more sympathetic too, right? Like from your perspective, right? You're like, oh, you're worried about this other person, right? And how they feel and what they enjoy.
Sure.
They don't give a fuck about you. If they're the kind of person who's talking through the whole movie and making all kinds of fucking noises and shit, like they don't give a fuck about you. And that doesn't
Yeah,
bother you that there's like this like you're
But
being
I'm saying-
courteous and they're ruining your time.
I'm saying the anomaly where it is somebody that has like a special disability. You can't
yeah,
expect
that's true.
that. That's a much
I
easier
am
thing.
lumping it all together.
If it was like two teenagers behind me, I'd have the exact same reaction
Which
that
is
you
what I
did.
thought it was.
See,
Right.
this is
and I would just
what
be like,
I do.
seriously, you got to stop. I have done that.
Now, me being a fundamentally selfish person, I lump it all together as this thing is making noise. I don't like it. Fuck that thing. That needs to go.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. In my life, I'd rather be the person that cares
Yeah, agreed.
than doesn't care.
I'd rather be the one behind the dick doing the fucking than the one getting fucked.
Look,
That's my
if I have to deal
policy.
with, I'm past that one. If I have
moving
to
on
deal
from
with
that.
something that is going to inconvenience me a little bit for 2 hours, and it makes that experience just a little worse, and these people have to deal with it their whole fucking lives, I'm okay with that.
I feel like I have a lot of empathy.
I'm okay with that because
I don't think
they're-
you
they're
don't.
suffering
Yeah.
a lot.
I don't think you don't.
The
but it
only
also,
reason why I thought I was justified in my emotional reaction to that was they didn't take all the steps that they could have to mitigate their condition.
Yeah.
Sure.
If they'd sat
I'll
further
agree
away
with
from
that.
See, my thing is
But
I don't hold people to a higher standard than I hold myself in public. Like if someone's doing something that I would be like, oh, I could see how I could make this mistake.
Yeah.
Like I try to be understanding of
Right.
that. It's when they're doing something that like even a small amount of common courtesy would prevent.
Right.
But if you think about it in the lens of like these people are going to a movie, they're doing it at the right time, and they want like any other normal moviegoer to
they just-
sit in the middle of
They
this.
missed that last step.
But no, but if they're still going in the line of we're doing everything right and we want to see the movie where you should see a movie,
They
middle
can't.
of the theater.
They can't.
That's
Disagree.
the one.
They
That's the
can
one
and
line.
they did.
They have just as much right as you do.
Yes. Even if they showed up late, doesn't matter.
I don't think they do because they did violate the rules of the theater. Every theater
No.
does have a
There
be
could
quiet
be
rule.
two truths here. Like they have the right to
Up
do that,
until-
and I'm justified in feeling angry about them sitting right behind me and making noise
I
when,
think-
when they knew that would happen.
Sure. But the thing about the rules of the movie theater, you're not supposed to sit in a handicap seat. So you can't put that backwards on them. There's opposite rules for you as there is for them. So they can probably go to a movie theater and make a little bit of noise, and that's okay.
Well, there's a difference between a little bit and yelping the whole movie.
Put the phone
Was it
away. You don't
so-
need to rate the theater right now.
Was it so distracting that you couldn't like actually watch the movie?
Yeah. But what I see, it was distracting because it was still, I was processing it through the prism of these are disrespectful kids
Right.
who are, they're like challenging me
Right.
because I already turned around and shushed them.
Yeah.
And now they started making more noise and really sarcastic.
Sure.
You should have gone
sounding?
alpha gorilla.
So
It's all about intent.
I did. So I got
Yeah,
up. I was
it's
like,
intent
I was
and the
really
lens you're
loud
looking
and
through.
pissed. I was like, you guys are fucking out of here. I'm getting a manager. And that's when they stood up and stopped me and explained everything.
Got it.
I was like, it shouldn't have
Yeah.
come to this.
Or like the first time you turn around,
But it-
she could have said like, "I'm sorry." She's
Exactly.
and you'd be like, "Oh, okay."
This could
That would have been better.
This could all be solved by
No.
Like most things
No,
in life.
I don't wanna
like
know where
most
this is
things-
going. Taking our
communication.
undesirables.
Communication.
Exactly.
we have a big room that we put them in, but it's not a movie theater.
It's an arena.
It's not an arena either. It's just a.
Okay.
It looks like a shower.
No.
No.
All right, we're out of
So
time.
anyway, what's
Yeah.
really?
Well, yeah.
We made it through one whodunit.
I know, we only made
and
it
we're
through
out of
one.
time.
I know, and it was a bad one.
And
maybe one of our
nothing we
best.
talked about was about that.
Maybe one of our best whodunits yet.
We're not going to remember this name in a couple weeks.
Crosby Garston.
I
Remember his
forgot
name.
what he did already.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
He died mysteriously.
We don't even know if he died.
In 6 months.
disappeared
In
mysteriously.
6 months,
The
get
one
ready to
thing
get a
we're
book
sure
of his poetry for Christmas.
He went to like 4 places and then disappeared. That's it.
The one thing we're sure about, we're not sure about. And that's Babbelab for the week.
Hey,
Thanks
that's
for
all I'm
show
saying.
where we hammer nails down.
God damn it!
Why do you keep giving him that?
This is the Babbelab ball game. Wow. This is the Babbelab ball game. Wow. This is the Babbelab ball game.